Hey, what up, guys? So I've been getting quite a few questions about Multishot in season 10 of PD2, so I decided to make a small video going over some of the basics for it now, that I've actually made one as well myself. So right now I'm pretty geared. I can show you the gear. I have Soul Drainers, Buriza with ISED Slam, Fortitude, Valkyrie Wing, 3 sockets, some ED damage duels in there, Saracens, some pretty good bolts here, 102 ED max damage and 25 deadly strike. War Travelers, just for like the flat damage in here, and some magic find, it's pretty good. Wisp, boost your damage with obviously the skill and the Heart of the Wolverine. Just a rest build here to kinda somewhat fix my resistances, right? Ravenfrost for CBF, and yeah, the Soul Rings for the Fist Pierce and dual leech. This is actually enough leech at the moment to basically get my health up to full when I kill a monster. Skills and like max damage charms, just a mix. I found that bow skills are actually pretty good for when you're using a what's it called, Buriza or crossbow in general, because of the somewhat high minimum damage. So that scales quite well, and when I go out and buff myself up, I get like more than 5k minimum damage, which is really solid. Yeah, so that's the gear on me. On the mercenary, Fave to get the fanaticism. Yeah, just random survivability gear otherwise. This is like somewhat expensive, right? Not the cheapest. I can go over some of the options I used before this, but let's go over the skill points and the stats points first. So strength enough to wear the Buriza, and then just dump everything into to dexterity. So this is definitely a softcore build, right? And since I'm level 99 now, I don't really care about ripping once in a while. But usually you kill everything on the screen before they even get a chance to get an attack in, right? So nothing in the Javelin and Spear skill tree. Let's go to the bow here first. So max multi-shot, 1 point guided arrow. I ended up dumping points into guided arrow because I had some spare, and you can see like my attack rating is pretty good. So you could, like, if your attack rating isn't great, could put points into penetrate, but wasn't really an issue for me at this point, right? But on that, max critical strike, max evade for the movement speed and dodging attacks as well, right? And then I put quite a few points into dodge as well, just to get like some more survivability and higher FHR, get like another breakpoint with that as well. And then maxed Valkyries. That is kind of like, I think, more of a thing you want to do early on. I haven't bothered respecking after I gotten these gear upgrades, right? But it's nice to take a little bit of damage away from yourself regardless, right? So that's a good option. But the guided arrow is your single target boss damage, right? You can see right now 2 to 6k almost. So not bad. And yeah, as I said, 5k minimum to 14k top end, right? With the Merc, you can get like a Templars to get more might, and yeah, that is probably the biggest damage upgrade at this point, I think. On that, it's just getting like Deadly Strike Slam on Soul Drainers. I don't know, CBF from somewhere else. Maybe a what's it called? The Veil of Steel, I think. That can solve some res issues as well, right? So you can put max damage charms in here as well. So it's kind of like minimal how much we can actually upgrade at this point. But let's also just pop open a map and I can show you the damage at this skill level. Also just focused on getting a lot of run walk. That's why we have the Act 1 work with the Vigor, right? But let's see here. So buff up, use Heart of the Wolverine, and then we just Go. So, super fun, super strong. One thing to be aware of is that in World Crypt, it's a decent map for this, but the skeletons are not great because you can't leech off them, so if you only get that kind of pack and you're poisoned or something like that, it can be a little bit annoying, right? But yeah, basically like 1 or 2 shots at this point. So super strong, and you can just zoom, right? Yeah, let's grab the Willstone shard real quick here. And I guess the ring. And then we can go over some of the other options, especially early on, right? That's actually not a bad ring. Alright, so early on, what I did before I got the runes to make a faith, right? I used a Act 5 Merc with Might, because this native Might aura is actually a really big damage buff. So that's something I would recommend before you get into, like, until you have enough damage and the runes to make a faith bow. At that point, I used Hustle and Mermans to get the movement speed. I guess we can kind of like get rid of the Merc here real quick. I don't want to rehire a Merc. It's too much work at this point, but we can just... Oh, I guess I can't do that right now. But I guess you can kind of see, you get the idea here, right? We're running pretty fast with that, even without out vigor, right? So that is super nice, and another benefit of Hustle is that you get other attack frames. So that means that, just see here. The max frames now, the reason why I'm doing Buriza was changed for the season, right? So you can see you can get 9 frames now, that's the maximum. And right now, the reason why I can use Soul Drainers and basically no IS otherwhere, or from other places, right, is because of the fanaticism, right? And then because of the good IS claim I got here. You can like get like a somewhat cheaper Buriza with like just 3 socket slam or something like that, and it will still be alright. You can put a Shale Rune in there, then you get some easy IS that way, and like just random duels with ED or minimum damage. It's still super strong. I can try and post like a video of from when I farmed with more budget gear, right, with the Might Merc. Then you can actually use something like 220 bow gloves to get IS. Let's try and see if we take this one off. So you can see, then we need quite a bit if you don't have fanaticism to get the maximum breakpoint, and I think you really want that, like, for this, and that's why I was using Hustle. And you can see here, it's a little bit more attainable with Hustle, right? 160, 68 IS, so you can go with like 20 IS gloves and High Lords. And then what I did was, before I put the ED duels in here, I had some, like a Fall Rune and, or like an IS duel, just without anything else in there. And I think it was 2 Fall Runes just to get my cold res up, because that was the one I was missing a bit, right? And that way getting the maximum breakpoint. So that is also a really solid option to go for if you don't have the currency for making a fanaticism rune word, right? Other options, like endgame, I was debating keeping the Might Merc, because his native Might aura is gonna be way higher than the level 8 you can get from the Templars, right? So if we wanna go like highest damage possible, then you should go for the Act 5 Might Merc with what's it called, Beast rune word on that guy. That is gonna be the highest sheet damage, but at that point then you have to think about movement speed. Like, do you have enough movement speed for what you desire, right? I really like to go super fast, so yeah, I went with Faith, but there are multiple options. You can also go Goblin Toe, right? Has some ED and Crushing Blow, that's not bad. Generally we want to get as much flat damage and ED as possible on this build. Valkyring, I feel like, is a super strong option, also because you get the faster run walk on it, and the skills are actually not useless on Multishot with the recent buff to the skill itself, right? So it's actually really good to use this one. I kind of like this. Yeah, on Bolt you want to get like ED, max, min damage. Deadly Strike is super good. That is also something you can try and mess around with a little bit, right? Get some Deadly Strike in your build in some kind of way. But before I had Wisp as well, it's super nice to have this on the build, right? But you can easily get another piece of half freeze with Hustle being one of them, right? So that opens up your ring slots as well. So you could get like something like this. It's actually pretty good, right? Get leech that way if you don't get it from anywhere else, and minimum damage, min-max damage, those kind of things. Fix your resistances also, right? You can use a string if you want a little bit of DR. I did that for a little bit. That also has some good leech on there, right? So there's a lot of option, and yeah, it's super strong. So I think that kind of covered the basics. I'm by no means a multi-shot expert, but this is kind of like my experience after testing a little bit, right? Like I tested some of this in closed beta, and now I'm also been playing it for a little bit. So I hope that helps some of you guys who want to try this build out. It's definitely a lot more accessible this season than it has been previously with the crossbow frame changes, right? So get a Buriza. Shouldn't be too expensive to get a decent one now, especially with the buff to the socket slams, right, on two-handed. So yeah, super good.